Earlier today, this trending headline came about. Basically, people kind of being a little bit disappointed when it came to Heidi Mendoza's stances. Because if I'm not mistaken, a lot of people got taken aback when she was very vocal about her anti-divorce, anti-abortion, and not exactly anti-Soji, but against same-sex marriage or unions. So may ganun siyang stance which got people a little bit surprised, and that's why you have a headline that looks something like this. We were rooting for you, Heidi. Mendoza's conservative stances spark backlash. Now, before we talk about it even more, I want to let you know who Heidi Mendoza is. One of the things that impressed people the most is that she is the Undersecretary General for the United Nations Office of Internal Oversight Services. Basically, ang mandate niya is to assist the Secretary General in fulfilling his internal oversight responsibilities in respect of the sources and staff of the organization, specifically including internal audit, investigation, monitoring, evaluation, inspection, reporting, and support services to the United Nations Secretariat. Basically, siya yung COA ng UN. Somebody who can audit and spot inconsistencies. Pag nakita niya, uy, parang may discrepancy dito ah. Parang may corruption na nangyayari. Keyword, corruption. Keyword, pera. Heidi is supposedly the woman for the job. And so, while she does have such a great background on how capable she is when it comes to being a senator or at least a politician, somebody who's most capable of tackling auditing and corruption and money problems in a country like ours, where we are constantly plundered and plagued with really, really bad and corrupt politics. But then this came along and seemingly we all kind of felt bad about it, me including. Because I do have an initial stance in my head, which is again, parang ay bad trip or parang ay sayang. Because I know where I stand in these social conversations, right? I know where I stand when it comes to talking about Soji or talking about divorce or abortion conversations. I kind of know where I'm at. So I looked at the comment section because I also know for a fact na I only know what I know. And if I look at the comment section, perhaps I'm going to learn something different. And that's what happened to me. That's what we should all do anyway. So these are the comments that kind of stood out to me. The first one being this. She's still competent enough over other Trapo candidates. So let's talk about this first. To me, this is very true. Very true that she is still competent over other Trapo candidates. Because imagine, I don't want to name names, but imagine a candidate who has the same exact stances as her. Anti-divorce, anti-abortion, against against what Soji preaches. All these things. And then you compare them to Heidi. Would you pick this candidate over Heidi? I think I'm still gonna pick Heidi over this candidate, right? So while Heidi used to be my number 1 choice, maybe Heidi now becomes my number 12 choice. She's still going to become my senatoriable, just not number 1. Because she does satisfy a lot of the things I would want to see in a very high position of a political leader. But when it comes to her other stances, not so. Doesn't mean she's any less capable of doing what she has to do. Now, this is the second comment that kind of struck me. This one was a comment that Yale sent to me. This one. Let her fight corruption. Leave the other issues to other candidates, which I thought was a pretty sweet thing, like a pretty intelligent thing to think about, right? You have somebody who's really good at her job when it comes to auditing. So good, in fact, na napunta siya sa UN, which, to my knowledge, is a pretty reputable organization, despite what other naysayers may say. So the UN, high position, third highest position, she knows what she's doing. Let her do her job. And when it comes to the social conversations or the social stuff that we would want to see change, sige na nga, yung iba na. Because again, she may not be the candidate that fulfills all your checks, but she fulfills at least half of them, which is more than I could say for any other senatoriable at this moment. Because imagine picking over Heidi, right? Ganun pa rin yun eh. You're still going to pick Heidi despite her stances on these social issues. So let's go to the next tab over here. So basically the comic here is all those standing for social rights going against Heidi because Heidi is saying no to whatever they are clamoring for. Diba? May ganyan. And the comments here are also pretty interesting because the comments here are very engaging. People are willing to have a dialogue, which is something rare these days pagdating sa comment section. Usually pagdating sa comment section, pitchforks ka agad, di ba? Away tayo. You versus me. My thoughts versus yours. If you don't agree with me, I hate you. But if you look at the comment section here, the comment section is actually pretty good. The author himself says, walang pumipigil sa inyo na bumoto sa kanya. Commentary ko to. So if you don't agree with it, Eddie, don't. Just don't expect me to play safe because that's not how I do things. I think this is going to be the general theme of the comment section. More of like an acceptance of other people's views and it not making them a lesser person as long as the dialogue continues to be intelligent. It's a commentary on what happened. How hard is it to understand? The commentary didn't tell anyone who to vote for. It's a commentary on a candidate who, after gaining support and endorsement from LGBTQIA+ advocates, would then say to their faces that their love is not true and real. If her stance from the beginning was no on marriage equality, dapat di siya kumuha ng endorsers or other guests na LGBTQ advocates para consistent siya sa stance niya. Nagmukha tuloy siyang user. Also, sino nagsabi ng bawal pumuna ng taong gusto ninyong manalo laban sa admin? If you don't understand commentaries, you don't understand TK. So while this comment goes against what I currently believe or what my stances are, I also think it's a very valid comment. Kasi kung totoo man to, na kumuha siya ng endorsers who are LGBTQ advocates, tas siya pala mismo ay hindi, may problema talaga yun, di ba? So this one is a valid take. I think this should be talked about some more. Dahil sa isang issue, di ba dapat mas pagtuunang pansin ang mas malaking issue gaya ng korupsyon? I think this is more of weighing which is a more important issue. I think both are equally important. Hindi sa isinasantabi ang same-sex marriage pero may mas malaking problema na dapat ayusin. Yun ay alisin ang mga trapo sa pwesto nila at palitan ng mga competent na leader tulad ni Heidi. Last one. Kung nitpicking tayo sa personal stand ng matitinong kandidato, wala tayong mapipili. Very valid take. Lahat ng kandidato may personal stance pero once nakaupo, may possibility na magbago ang stand nila. We need winnable candidates para hindi makaupo ang mga payaso. Please rethink this one. This is also a valid take. I've said this again and again throughout this entire conversation or in this entire monologue or this entire essay na, yeah, sure, hindi siya aligned sa mga stances ko pagdating sa social issues. Pero sobrang galing niya pa rin sa ibang mga kailangan gawin ng isang senator. While she doesn't stand for the same things as you do, she may still be very well competent pagdating sa iba. To wrap it all up, I want to go back to what I said earlier. Heidi may not be my number 1 anymore, but she's for sure still my number 12.